Good morning. It's good to have you with us this morning for a time of daily devotion. Psalm 61 says this: God, hear my cry, pay attention to my prayer. I call to you from the ends of the earth. When my heart is without strength, lead me to a rock that is high above me. For you have been a refuge for me, a strong tower in the face of the enemy. I will live in your tent forever and take refuge under the shelter of your wings. That first part of that passage makes me remember about an incident that happened when it says, God, hear my cry. My brother, who's about 10 years younger than me, grew up as a sibling pretty much without me being there. I was married when I was 19. He was about 9 years old then. And a couple of years after we got married, my mom called and said, guess what happened? And I said, all right, Mom, what? She said, well, Jim was on Midnight. Now, Midnight was our black Welsh mare. Midnight had a mind of her own. She was a sweet horse, not really big in the sense of hands high. A Welsh pony is a little smaller than the regular horse, a little bigger than the other horses. But she pretty much did what she wanted to. So Jim was riding her down the gravel road, which used to be the railroad tracks. And he was going to cut some cattails and bring them home to Mom. And about the time he reached down to cut some, Mom yodeled. Now, when my mom yodels, you can hear it a couple of miles away. The thing was that when Jim was cutting those cattails, Midnight picked her ears up and heard Mom, and she knew that the yodel meant come home. Well, what happened is, as Mom said, as Jim come into the driveway with arms flailing, cattails all over the place, that horse was running straight back for home. She heard Mom, and she responded to Mom. Jim got off the horse and said, Mom, don't ever call that horse again while I'm on her. Please. It scared the life out of him. You know, that's the way God can hear us. He can hear us wherever we are and in whatever situation we're in. He is there to help us. This passage is very explicit in the fact that it says that when we cry out to Him, He pays attention to our prayers, that He helps us to gain strength from the troubles that are happening around us upon the earth. It says that we need to learn to be led by Him to a rock that is high above me, for you have been a refuge for me. God is our refuge, folks. We need to remember that. We know that when He calls, we're going to go home one of these days. I'm looking forward to that call, that we'll go home and be with Him. But until then, we need to learn to live in His tent forever and take refuge under the shelter of His wings. This week may bring a lot of different situations to you, a lot of troubles, a lot of trials. But remember that God is our refuge, and we can cry out to Him, and He will hear us. So you have a good week. We'll talk at you tomorrow. Be safe.